Hello guys, and welcome back to another video. Today I'm going to be showcasing a new deck I've been working on, kind of a new deck. But this one, unlike my other two deck videos, those were much more sort of exploratory, showing off some different things you can do with the new expansion, showing off a number of different decks that were not particularly refined all at once. This one is the opposite. This is a very, very specific deck that I've worked on the exact list for the past week or so that I'm getting a lot of success with, very, very high win rate. So I wanted to share that to give you a very specific deck that is performing very, very well. But it's a deck that I haven't really seen a lot of other people sort of latch onto. And it's also a deck that is a little bit difficult to play. Not necessarily that it has a extraordinarily high skill cap compared to other decks, but more that it plays in a very non-conventional way. So I feel like a lot of people might look at the deck and look at the list, try it out a couple games, feel like it doesn't perform as better as similar lists, and then sort of discount it. So I want to show off the deck, explain how it works, and then show some gameplay on the deck, and hope that some of you guys find it interesting. At the very least, if you don't think it's as powerful as other decks, it is certainly a lot more fun, in my opinion, than other decks, because it plays very differently than the rest of the stuff going on in ANZAC. So, a quick breakdown of the, there was the qualifiers for the upcoming summer expansion tournament. So, you had the 32 players who had qualified to this event, bringing what they thought are all the best decks of the tournament, or of the format right now. And you saw the number one deck was Japan, or the number one nation combination was Japan with ANZAC. So I'm doing Japan ANZAC Control, so I'm doing Japan ANZAC Aggro. That's to be expected. And certainly those decks are all out there, so you can look for those if you want. And then the second highest nation combination was Brit ANZAC, and that's what I'm going to be looking at here today. But the way that most people, basically all of the lists I saw, were building Brit ANZAC is how you would build a British control deck. So I don't necessarily have one of these lists immediately with me, but let's just grab this ramp list and look at some of the cards that you see a lot of people running. Is these things like Queen's Own, the 4K RAF Mustang, the Mosquito Bomber. These are just like classic British control cards, MI5, these types of things, and Middlesex, and they're playing it like a control deck. You run control tools that slow down the opponent, that present threats, and then on top of that, you just have Meteor, so you never take fatigue, and then you obviously have some ANZAC forecast generation. Now, these are fine decks. These are good decks. I don't think that people are wrong for bringing these decks. I just don't think that's the optimal way to build Britain ANZAC, because I don't think they're getting enough value out of Meteor as the primary win condition, because I don't think there's really effective ways right now that people are able to counter Meteor as a win condition. So right now, all of these ANZAC control decks or these Japan ally control decks are running a ton of healing, they go up a ton of health, and then eventually somebody wins by slowly beating them down with something. But if you instead run a bunch of healing, but a bunch of card draw, and then use Meteor as your specific win condition, you can very easily outspeed these other decks at being able to deal 30 damage in a single turn with Meteor, whereas your opponent's dealing 6 damage to you in a single turn with, like, their key. And that's just, like, the scaling isn't there. So I think the deck is absolutely stomps control, but it's still running all of the British anti-aggro stuff. In fact, it's running more British anti-aggro stuff. So that's a lot of talking about the meta right now. I think this is the optimal way to build Britain ANZAC. It's also a very, very fun deck. It's a very unique deck, since you're relying less on the traditional control tools. So if you're just a regular player, absolutely check out the deck and have some fun with it. And if you are a player from one of these tournaments, or you know somebody in one of these tournaments, maybe give this deck a try. And maybe bring it to the top 8, because I think it is a very powerful deck, and it'd be really cool to see somebody else play this deck in a tournament. So, let's take a look at the list before getting into any games. So, this is, if you remember in one of my previous videos, going over the decks, I built a all-in Meteor deck with just a ton of card draw, and that deck did not really work out that well. And that's simply because I put in too much card draw, and I think I said at the time in the video, like, there's maybe a way to refine this. This is effectively a refined version because I'm running the neutral card package. So what is the neutral card package? Well, there's a few different things. I'm running most of it. So this is the Royal Sussex Regiment is one of the key cards to this package. This basically just improves the quality of all of your neutral cards, which are your productions, your plans, and your blasts. Now, with only Britain, because Anzac can't generate any of these, your only ways to get productions, which are the most important, is Protected Convoy. And then Protected Convoy also gives you plan. And then number 46 Commando gives you blast and plan, and is also just an incredibly powerful on-curve turn to deal with Jagro. And then Planned Attack, which I've seen some people say they didn't think is that good. Planned Attack is incredibly powerful. This is very, very flexible early game removal, where you can deal 2 damage to any target and add a plan, and that 2 damage can hit the enemy HQ. Or you draw the card immediately and add a blast to your hand, so this is guaranteed another one of those neutral cards. BPF I ran initially, but just the developed naval card was just, on average, very, very inconsequential. So 2 credits for one of these I didn't find to be that worth it. But then another heavy, heavy lifter card is the Universal Carrier. This guy is nuts. He makes all of your plans cost 1 less, and when you play a plan, add a blast to your hand. So this guy lets you play all of those plans, which you generally collect in your hand over the course of the game. It gives you a substantial credit reduction on all of these guys, and they give you blasts that you can play immediately to help clear out the board. And all of these things together are very, very powerful. Now, what else are you playing in the deck? Because this is giving you a lot of card draw. So Protected Convoy is 4 plans, that's 4 card draw. Planned Attack, whether you're taking the plan or the immediate draw, is another 3 draw, so this is 7 draw. Number 46 Commando is another 4 plans, so together this is 11 draw. Plus, if you have Royal Sussex, it makes your plans draw an extra card, so this is often additional card draw. Well, what else do you have that draws cards? Well, you're playing Anzac, so of course you have 4 copies of Dingo. This card is absolutely incredible. I've seen some people say that they have struggled to take the front line with this deck, and that's something that we will address later down the line. But the use of Dingo in this deck is very, very different than how you typically use it. So obviously, you're keeping Dingo in your opening hand, because if you can play Dingo on turn 1, especially if you're going first, you're absolutely chilling. But something that this deck faces, and is the steepest learning curve of the deck, is you are constantly at hand size limit. And you do not ever want to overdraw a card unless Meteor is already in your hand, and you do not want Meteor in your hand very long because of potential discard. So, oftentimes, you literally play Dingo, and then don't attack with it. You just throw it into the front line. If you need to slow down the front line, maybe you keep it in the support line if you might need to draw with it later down the line. Another great use of Dingo is to play around the US countermeasures, air defense and counter-strike, since this is a 1 credit card that can attack before attacking with Meteor, to play around that. And then the other thing is you can just hold on to them in your hand until you dump a board player and then you push them up. But again, something you often do is you play it out of your hand as a 1 credit card that does not have to replace itself. You just play it, you don't attack with it, so you stay at 8 cards and don't overdraw. Now, some other cards that draw in this deck is Royal Research. With this deck, you are always either picking Radar for the immediate healing and draw, but more often than not, actually, you go for the number 2 option of Synthetic Rubber. And you're playing Synthetic Rubber on one of 2 cards, typically. Obviously, you can play it on any minion or unit in your deck, but one is you play it on your Meteor to turn it into an immediate 6/6, so it shuffles into your deck the first time as a 12/12 rather than a 2/4, so basically it lets you supercharge the Meteor in advance after your first one, or sometimes your opponent lets you stick Gordon Highlanders on the board and then you turn it into a 14/14 and smack them upside the head, and threaten to end the game immediately. That's the other use case. So Research can draw, but more often than not, you're using it for the Synthetic Rubber. And then the rest of the deck, there is 2 copies of the Anzac Spirit. Now, I was not too hot on this card in my initial card review, and I'm still not too hot in this card. I think there's a lot of people playing this card in decks that they should not be playing it in. I do not like this card at all in Japan Anzac control. But there's 2 reasons I'm playing it in Britain. One is it is amazing with Gordon Highlanders. You play Gordon Highlanders on the Anzac Spirit, on turn 6. Sometimes you can even do that on turn 5 with production, or you can even sometimes draw and play the Anzac Spirit on the same turn if you have a Dingo on board that can attack to draw for 0 credits. And the other card is Observer Core. So I only run one copy of this. If I make changes to the deck down the line, maybe I'll put in a second Observer Core. This card is great because it can reduce the cost of the Anzac Spirit immediately if you don't have Gordon Highlanders. It can reduce the cost of Gordon Highlanders to play immediately. It can reduce the cost of the Royal Sussex Regiment to get this guy out a bit cheaper to start comboing him easier. Or it can reduce the cost of your other AoEs. So there's Wave After Wave, obviously, and a single copy of Carpet Bombing, which is another good option for the Gordon Highlanders. This is to just give you an additional AoE. Because, of course, Anzac, you are playing 4 copies of Task Force 44, and you are basically always picking Storm, and then you pick the board clears, like 80% of the time. You just pick the 6-cost Storm option off of Task 44, and you have 4 of those, and that's going to give you the additional board clears necessary to keep the boards cleared. Then, because there's so much card draw and so much stuff that replaces itself in your hand like Task 44 does, you need cards to get out of your hand quickly. And that's where stuff like Observer Core is useful. Pioneer Company is a huge MVP in this deck because if you look at the deck, 22 orders. Then you have 2 fortifications and 2 copies of Enzans to fill out the 12 Anzac slots. And this is, again, you play it on turn 3, the extra credit slot is a bit useful. At getting up to that, Gordon Highlanders Anzac Spirit gives you the credits to empty out your hand and cycle through your hand quickly, as well as it just gets out of your hand, gives you a bit of healing. And then I have Seaforth Highlanders as just a bit of guard, slow down some aggro, throw up a guard in advance of stuff like the Blitz Fighters, like the Key. There's a lot of keys going around. Now, I did have a conversation about somebody about whether the Tigers would be better than Seaforth, since this is a neutral card deck. You're running a lot of neutral cards, so the Tigers, you might think, would be a natural card for this deck. And I have to say, I have not tried it out yet. The reason I think that that's probably just worse than Seaforth is because the Tigers comes down with 5 health. And you are basically always saving productions for very specific turns. And you're almost always playing blasts immediately, and those are the 2 0-cost options, which means that you're very unlikely to actually have neutral cards to play on turn 4 if you play this down on turn 4, which means on turn 4 against aggro it's a 5 health guard rather than Seaforth, which is a 7 health guard on turn 4 against aggro, and that's where the guard is the most useful. Obviously, there's going to be some games against control where maybe I can supercharge this guy to like a 13-13 or something, but if I'm against control, I just have Meteor and I win anyways, so I'd rather be using my neutral cards to cycle through the deck and clear the board effectively rather than trying to supercharge a unit that might just get suppressed or destroyed before I can attack. But that's the rationale behind not taking the Tigers. Anyways, that is a lot of talking about the deck. Now let's do some playing of the deck. So let's jump into game 1. Alrighty, our opponent, first opponent here is Germany playing with the name Jagro Sucks, which is objectively a hilarious name. Germany is probably Heinz. We'll keep the number 46 Commando. Frontline's probably going to be empty, so I'll keep Dingo. And you will very, very quickly see, I suspect. Well, this is going to be a discard deck, it seems. Or handlock. You'll probably very quickly see how fast your hand fills up in this deck. It's turn 1, and I'm on 7 cards. Alright, this is German units. When German unit enters your hand, reduce cost by 1. That is a card I don't know if I've ever actually seen played before. So, that's probably a card we want to deal with, since it is quite good. So we'll go for the planned attack, add the plan to our hand. Deal the 2 damage to it. Sets up killing it if I draw any more blasts. Or sets up killing it on turn 3 if we have to wait that long. So he's just going to send it back to hand, replay it. So he's got the bounce thing going on. Perfect draw on turn 3. That will get us up to Royal Sussex. So I can blast for 2 if that's something I want to do. You typically save it. Okay, our opponent's doing some crazy stuff, but they're also doing a whole bunch of infantry stuff. So this guy in the front line doesn't scare me too much. I can also just kill it with Task Force 44 and the Blast. And I would really like to get the forecast on this triggered immediately. Again, basically always pick Storm. And basically always pick Cyclone. So now the question is, do we play Plan, just to get another card into our deck, or do we play out a Dingo and hit the Garrison, heals us 1? Probably just going to play Plan. Try to find the... draw last, I know. Try to find Carpet. Okay, it's a front and homeland deck. Got another... Or no, you retreated that guy to hand, of course. So still not a lot going on, but we're also not a lot... We're not under any pressure, basically. So, tempted to play Pioneer Company Plan. And then we'll just drop a Seaforth. Now, both of these units are very good for him to suppress. And I assume he's running suppressions, especially if he's running front and homeland. But again, he's not doing a whole lot of stuff. Like, I'm not really under pressure. I have a Cyclone in hand. I have the Monty to slow him down. That is a very annoying unit, but thankfully it dies to Cyclone. We also have the Anzac Spirit. Not bad. I think I'm leaning towards just dropping the Cyclone, and then I can clear this guy up with the Blast. Seaforth also has great synergy with Cyclone, because it doesn't... its attack goes down on your turn to 1, so it only deals 1 with the Light Bomb Cyclone. And then looking forward down our turn, playing Anzac Spirit next turn looks really good, but that would make us overdraw if I don't play another card this turn, so I will play out one of my Dingoes and just use it to heal myself 1 and slow him down a bit in the front line. Again, you play this deck, it looks so inefficient. Like, everything I'm looking looks terrible, but the thing to keep in mind is not how effective each individual one of my cards is. The thing to keep in mind is the fact that I'm at above my starting health. My hand is full. My opponent has basically no board. And I will eventually kill my opponent with a 99/99 Meteor, whereas he will eventually run out of cards. So, it is a... You have to, like, wrap your mind around playing a very different deck than what you're probably used to playing. Don't really have to worry about overdraw. Like, honestly, the scariest thing to play against, the scariest thing for this deck to play against is either the mirror, because I've lost the mirror just because some people run a lot of guards in the mirror, like they run a bunch of garrison creation, which means that they can just continuously block meteors, because this deck doesn't really deal with guards other than just board clears. So if you can consistently play one small guard a turn, it's going to block the meteor. Okay, our opponent has a lot of credits. Gonna start with this, see if there's a on-deployment countermeasure, which there is not. I could waive this. It's not a lot. But I'm leaning towards just dropping the wave. And then get the Dingo draw. Put Meteor back in deck, so it can't be discarded, and Yeah, like this is just how the deck plays. Like, our opponent is just getting. To be fair, my opponent's deck does not seem good. I should start with that. My opponent is not playing a particularly good deck. But like we're just able to absorb so much pressure and keep on going. Drawing Meteor back immediately is interesting. Um, I mean, I could just trade. That's perfectly fine. I'm probably gonna send it face though. If I pick up research, there's a few things that could change there. Planned attack, very interesting. I think I want to blast this. Um, I could easily play this. My thought is my opponent might run Enigma. I have no idea what my opponent's playing, to be completely honest with you. So, um, it doesn't even really matter if he draws cards, so I'll just play it. There's also the argument that I could have done something like Production Plan immediately, since I'm still left with 2 cards in hand. That is a big guy. Alright, well, that is a pretty big hit to the HQ. Well, we'll start with Monty. See what we pick up. And I could actually go for the 3 damage task 44 line here. Sometimes you also just win with straight burn, if you're playing against decks that don't have a lot of burst, which is what it seems like I'm going to do at the moment. Alright, let's just... Well, we have Meteor in hand. It doesn't matter. I should have planned face, maybe. Germany's probably not going to have healing. My worry is he has a way to unpin this and then suppress this. It's kind of my main worry here, but he doesn't, so he is just instead going to lose the game. So let's deal the 2 damage with the planned attack. I can't play Meteor, but it does not matter, because we just simply burn him out with orders. So, pretty straightforward first game. Let's jump into the second game, and hopefully we play against something that's a bit more typical to see on ladder, to show you how it fares against the meta right now. Alright, our next opponent is US. Probably playing US ramp. We'll keep Commando on turn 1, just since it's a very safe turn 1 play. I'm almost tempted to keep Meteor, just to start growing it early against ramp. Because I suspect our turn 4 against ramp's probably not going to be a whole lot of anything, especially if we're going first. Maybe it's a bit troll, though. Because it also might not be ramp. Like, it's possible it's something aggressive with frontline, but based on my experience with the history of Kards ladder, it's going to be greedy ramp. Guy's thinking about playing as a dingo. Oh, it's Brit ally. That's very weird seeing 2 middle sexes in a row. I guess it's a good anti-dingo card. I could kill that. There's not much of a reason to. So, I'll instead just drop the plan. You might think that you need to hold on to your plans for Universal Carrier or to get the multi-draw with the Wessex. Unless you have Universal Carrier actively in hand. If you have a spare 2 credits, just drop the plan. You generate so many of them that you're not going to have too much of an issue with that. Now, Here's an interesting situation. I probably want to kill that. I think we do it this way. But then the question is, I think we push. Just getting the guy into the front line. He's ramp. He's not doing a whole lot of anything. Unless, well, so he's not ramp. He is. I was about to say, unless he's like a weird like buffs type of deck. Um, this leaves us in an awkward situation. Because of the guard, I can't kill this at the moment. Pinning it doesn't seem that useful, so I think we instead just do a plan. And then I think we discount the Highlanders or discount the carpet. If we discount the carpet, we can just play it next turn. If we discount the Highlanders, we can do Highlanders Monty carpet next turn. And then we have a Highlanders on the board. Having a Highlanders on the board against a deck that is seeming to be a bit more aggressive seems like it's probably going to be good. We'll see how many more infantry he plays. Okay, he makes a trade and then drops Skytrain. That's the only infantry that doesn't die. Oh. Okay, well. Turns out I'm pretty good at this game. So let's pin these. Yeah. Well, actually, no, I should have pinned the other ones, because then he has to push up Jasko. But we'll probably actually just kill the this guy before he gets out of hand. And this is what I'm talking about with the Gordon Highlanders. It is... That was what? A turn 5? I just played a turn 5 Anzac Spirit. Okay, he's got some Throp stuff going on now. I'm very confused as to what our opponent is playing, if that was not made clear. Do we just carpet number 46? So we know he's Brit ally. So there's no France unit spam, no healing off that. But he's Throp, so he's probably not a buff stack. I swear, when I queue into like these really, really weird homebrew type decks, oh boy. I feel like this is looking like an Ultra turn. Ultra, Enzans, remove some stuff. Like I could just get down a Seaforth instead. But I think we remove things. Britain, he played his garrison. Thinking of like the big 3 math. Cyclone division, sure. Okay, our opponent is confusing me. Let's get some double draw on this guy. Hopefully we can find a production or a protected convoy. We don't, but I think we just hold up Ultra and attack this again. Getting Ultra out of my hand will be nice. Ooh. Okay, big hit on the Ultra. Honey. Our opponent's health doesn't matter particularly. This could be an Anzac Spirit. I could also hold on to it. Anzac Spirit puts me above, but then I can do fortification. So we don't get the production. I can't play this without losing a card, but that's fine. So the question becomes Seaforth or Fortification. I think we just do Seaforth to fit our curve. Play it on the other side of the HQ, play around Suppression. Honestly, maybe I should have played it on the other side of the Sussex to play around Suppression. The Sussex might be more valuable than my HQ, but we will see what our opponent is playing here. So he hits the Veteran on this guy. Gets a random Sherman with Blitz at the start of his turn. I frankly don't know if I care. We'll play this. We won't attack with it immediately, because I want the hand space to play planned attack and get the blast. I don't think the honey's that valuable, so we'll target the blast into this guy. Then take the card draw. Cycle the dingo, slow down his guys, keep cycling the dingoes. Pick up Meteor, which we will then just immediately play. And we want to get these task forces online. I think we kill the honey now because it's become more valuable with the state of this board. Go for Storm, pick the 6k option, and get a Fortification out of my hand so I can play this plan next turn. Because the forecasting can be a bit misleading, because I'm currently on 6 cards, it looks like I'm fine, but then you draw the forecast, you draw your regular card, you start the turn with 8 cards in hand, and then it's suddenly you're right back at hand size again. Okay, if I play this, none of my stuff dies. It kills his Cyclone, but that's about it. That's not too valuable. I think I might just start with getting the Atlantic Convoy out of my hand, get some more productions. Okay, this is useful. We have to make more hand space first, though, since we're getting 3 cards added to hand off of this. We'll toss this in here. We'll kill this. Have to hurry up on the time. Pick the 6-cost option. Cyclone's dead. Pick the 6-cost option. Push up this guy. And... ah, this is guarded. Well, that's fine. Should have just played Fortification instead, but... it is neither here nor there. This is like last dingo, so this actually could be very relevant if I can't countermeasures, but... you often hit the clock with this deck. I've played this deck in Iron tournaments. Most stressful thing you can do. Actually, I might join an Iron tournament after this, because I think they just became active at the point of recording. Playing this in Iron tournament is so crazy with the reduced clock time in Iron, like in tournament modes. You have no time for anything. Okay. Pioneer's a safe first play. So we hit this Light Bomb. Is that the line? Doesn't let me attack with Dingo, but it also doesn't kill Dingo. There is a world where I could attack with Dingo. And it's not a terrible world. Honestly, I think we just take the Dingo. Dingo draw. We have 8 cards in deck and most of them draw, but... pick the 6-cost option. And we'll just hold on to these for now. We have the second Sussex in hand, so no need to play them immediately. If I had more time on the clock, I probably would have gone for this, but at the end of the rope, I don't want to make a play that could accidentally cause me to overdraw. Because again, like, look at this. We have 7 cards in deck, our opponent has 20. He has 8 cards in hand, he has these huge units on board, but I have 40 health, and my Meteor is about to absolutely pop off. So Universal Carrier is dead, so I can play this. No risk of overdraw. Okay, there's the Meteor attack. Drop another Protected Convoy. Draw another 2. Miss the Meteor. Kind of want the plan off this. So we'll end it like this. The reason I drew the last card, normally you would not want to draw the last card because one, it means I draw fatigue instead of drawing the Meteor naturally, and there's 1 less draw in my hand, which means it takes 1 more turn to draw Meteor down the line. The reason I did it is U.S. Britain without any forecast. He has no way of discarding my cards. U.S. Britain does have ways of retreating cards, so if I end Meteor guaranteed on deck with 8 cards in hand, if he plays like a half track, suddenly I've lost the game. So that's the explanation behind that play. Let's attack. No air defense. Could be he could have the... So I'm just having to think through the line here. I think it is Sussex. Hit this for 1 wave. Push up. We have to play around Counter-Strike because I trolled by playing out the 4th Dingo earlier in the game. He floated 2, was not air defense. First unit might just die to... Well, that's not what I was expecting it to die to, but... That's certainly something. So here it becomes an interesting question. I can Cyclone to remove this, and then push up both my units to increase the chances that I can play around Counter-Strike. Or I can Cyclone his face. That doesn't really accomplish anything, though. So we'll Cyclone like this. Continue playing around countermeasures. The other option is to go for Doubting System to shuffle the countermeasures out of his hand before going for Meteor. I think we have time for that, depending on how much pressure he can put on now that he's done Professionals. Professionals is only in deck, right? It's not hand in deck. Yeah, only in deck. So on 15 credits, I can do this twice, so I can Doubting in 2 turns. Well, not anymore. He got heavy armor on the Blackwatch. So this is 11, 12. We're 1 credit off being able to test. Is there... Is that true? What if I buff this? 8. No, it's definitely not true, because there's the extra cost on this. And we got rid of the Counter-Strike. Alright, Counter-Strike is gone. Possibly as air defense as well. But now there's also an 11-17 in the front line. He picks Death from Above. Alright. Now, what is the most effective way to get through this board? It's probably equal damage Cyclone. And then we're 1 credit off. We just hold on to this. 1 credit off lethal. That's another reason the credit gain is useful in the towards the end of the game. So he just goes for depth charges, buys himself a turn. Turns the top card of his deck into depth charges. So now he can depth charge twice in a row, but it also means... Okay, well that's terrifying. I also wouldn't have had the credits for lethal as well, actually, now that I'm looking at this. And he got Fury on this, which is quite bad. Am I just going to lose because that is Fury? Possibly. It seems likely, in fact. Now, I could play this now. I don't see what it accomplishes. I'm 1 credit off being able to play everything on the following turn, but I also don't see why playing everything on the following turn would be necessary. I mean, he just pushes, plays depth charges, and wins. Yeah. An unfortunate game. I should not have played the Dingo. And we have a 16-4 Meteor, but he has Smokescreen once again. That was a cool line to double up the Smokescreen. We'd actually win if this didn't have Fury, which is really annoying. There's also no way to try to get this guy's attack or health up. So, yeah, we just have to surrender. Call it a day. Unfortunate reality of playing against the US, but again, I didn't misplay in that game. So, with perfect play, that would have been a win. Now, moving on, we have... we're going to join an Ion tournament with this deck and hopefully play against some more typical decks of this meta, rather than the US guard spam, question mark. And we'll see how this goes. Alright, the Iron Tournament is starting. Hopefully this time I don't grief all my games, but it's going to be harder because, again, tournament mode has faster clocks. So I'm going to have to make the same decisions against better decks quicker. So opponent 1 is Japan. Number 46 Commando is just an easy keep against Japan. Protected Convoy is always a safe pick because getting the early production is good. And Zan's always a safe pick. Montes is a fairly safe pick, but if it's a more forecast-oriented Japan, then we're going to hold back. Hmm. I mean, I feel like it was a debate whether to go for... Well, actually, I could production out the Commando to kill this now. And then because Pioneer's on the board, I can end Zan's next turn anyways. I'm actually going to go for that. We have the second Protected Convoy in hand anyways. This could potentially stop his expansion. And if it doesn't stop his expansion, it's because he does Cavalry expansion, and then we trade out the Commando. Although, probably not in this turn. Task Force Face for 2. Alright. Solid line. Picked up Dingo. That is good, but I'm not going to be able to turn down a better War Machine on 2. Scouting Party is interesting. Not a card I typically see. Could Monty that just to slow him down. I kind of like that. We'll just go for the Monty if I can pick up another Dingo. That'll be good. No Dingo pickup. I think we just take the credit now to play Protected Convoy rather than pushing this up. Because also pushing this up versus 2 recons on the board, they're not going to be pinned next turn. Alright. That is perfectly fine. I could planned attack for 2 Meteor Face. That might seem like a really troll play, but that would be because it is. I need to find a Sussex. I could just do Fortification, Protected Convoy. Again, wait for him to come to me. We have plenty of time. Eventually we will draw a wave or a carpet or a forecast into a clear. Gordon, but nothing to Gordon with. Seaforth's pretty good. I mean, do I just Seaforth and trade? I could play in production Seaforth if we want to be credit efficient on the draw at the cost of a production. I don't think that's terrible. It does leave Commando on the board. The other option is just Seaforth, trade off the Commando. I think we'll do this. Him not getting extra draws on these could be relevant. I mean, he goes up to 9 on a clear anyway, so maybe he doesn't want the draws. Okay, hits face for 3. I'm happy with that. Draw last. I'm happy with that. Let's see if we get a clear. No. Can you imagine if we drew Anzac Spirit that turn? That would have been so nice. Well, this is a line we can go for. There's the Anzac Spirit. Clear up this. Let's go for another one. While we're at it, there's the wave. Clear up this. Alright. Yeah, send that turn to whoever said planned attack is a bad card. Okay, he kills the Pioneer, but leaves Universal Carrier. Probably because he's seen that I don't have any more plans in hand, and I've played a lot of them. Also, Universal Carrier is easier to kill, which he takes out now. Develops a second Storm. That's his second one of the game, and he already played the first one, so he only has one Weather in hand. I could draw this turn with Highlanders. I feel like getting the credit slots immediately is just good. Pick up a few cards. Another great thing about Gordon Highlanders is it's really difficult for your weather decks to remove, since it only does 3 damage with the everything deals attack to health. And then it's a 3/10 if they try to kill it directly with the 5 attack stuff. And even like suppress it, it's not the end of the world. If you can get it to the front line, it can slow them down a lot. Ooh, picked Rain this time. What did he pick off the Coastal Watchers? Picked Storm. So he has a Rain and a Storm, and he played his other Storm. So he has a Rain and Storm in hand next turn. He sent that face, and of course, it did that. So we'll start with Dingo. Dingo while we can. Meteor needs to leave hand because of Storm, which he probably went for because he has intel on this. We'll hold up the Ultra. Okay, we're gonna have to be fairly fast on this. I think we just push up Highlanders. I picked the 4-cost one because dealing damage to everything equal to attack, he's probably not going to play a lot of more units for the rest of the game. He's probably just going to rely pretty heavily on orders to kill us. And we have the wave if he tries to go for a board. That's the third one of those he's got. Clears up Dingo. So he has a Rain card in hand, plus a Sunny card. Sunny? What's he trying to get Sunny for? That's very weird. I mean, we'll just drop the Observer Core on this. Get the credit. Meteor needs to leave our hand. And we'll just put the damage in. Um, 9, 13. If I draw Meteor next turn, I can just kill him with Royal Research. Okay. Island Defense. I didn't think he would be playing Island Defense. I thought he was playing a Jagro deck, but apparently he's playing the control option. That's crazy that he task forced face onto in the control option. But I guess fair enough. Your goals still burn. So he did not. So he still has a Sunny card and a Rain card in hand. Interesting. I mean, let's just guide up for the keys. Get the healing in now. And then do we just pass? Like, I could... I guess we upgrade this. My thought with holding back on the upgrade is just in case I need the healing and the draw if we somehow, like, Giga Brick and he gets, like, a little bit of discard or something. But that seems unlikely. To the Last Man is not a card I thought he would be playing in his deck. Okay, but we still have 3 dingoes, including this. Didn't get anything off that. I'm wanting to save the Protected Convoy because we also have both Sussex in deck, and I'd like to get the draw 2 off the the plan. So I think we just do as so, look for a bit of damage. The shuffle's not bad, but I think we'll take this one since he's control and actually could. And we'll get this out of hand for just a bit of burn damage. Set up lethal if we draw Meteor. So it has Rain and Sunny still. Alright, gives him another draw. Still don't care. That generates a guard. That is a big dude. That's going to pull out the wave. I think wave is just a better use of our cards here. He still has that rain card, so I think we will hold on to this. Maybe I should pick rain for the draw, but like again, we have 2 dingoes in deck. I mean, if he plays like a key, we just kill it with... We have a few different options to try to kill it. Picks a second Sunny. There's the key. Takes the bond damage. And there is the Royal Sussex. I think we hold on to it, right? Because this pays for that, so that's 6 credits. Yeah, we're not going to have enough to play Meteor if I draw it, so I don't want to go for that because he has Rain and could have the discard one. He just passes back. There's nothing to disrupt this, so we will shuffle a 24/24 into the deck. And we can play it now if we draw it this turn. Which we don't. So we'll instead just do this. And I guess we'll pick this in case he gets somehow a big board of big things, or like a really high health guard or something. I don't understand like why he didn't just pick Storm on everything. Okay, there's a Bonsai, clears the board. We have 6 cards in deck. Still don't have it. Okay, we have 2 dingoes. Am I wrong that there's still 2 dingoes in deck? Well, there's 2 dingoes, Meteor, and 1 other card, which I'm assuming draws, based on how slow this has been. But we don't have to find out, because I just simply draw the Meteor. Yeah. Pretty straightforward game. We somehow got, like, giga-bricked on draw there. So it was a bit closer than it needed to be. But as you can see, we just simply out-healed the burn Anzac can offer. Because if you just clear the units, there's not that much burn that they can get into your HQ. They're not going to hit the 5 damage every single time. And the deck's also not that great on card draw. Okay, another Japan. We'll keep Dingo, we'll keep Enzans, we're going first. Good stuff. This is also a pretty good situation for 3 damage Task Force, although I don't know how relevant that's going to be. Okay, double commando, blast the cavalry, and this way we have a blast in hand for the turn 3 Ensigns. Oh, cool. Our opponent thinks we have a cool deck. I'll hit him with top of the morning. Alright. It's a relatively substantial... I think we hold off Ensigns. There's not anything we're ramping for. Killing the Shibata immediately is nice. He looks like he's the aggro version, so I'm honestly considering Rain just for healing. We'll take a look at Rain. Okay, we get the healing, the other options suck. And this way we also get to clear up Dingo without having to play Blast, which means Blast is really useful for taking out Type 93s, which are so annoying. Okay, he has intel on basically our entire hand. I can either double blast it and get Ensigns out this turn, or I can Task 44, plan Task 44, double push, something like that. I assume our opponent picked Storm. I wasn't paying a lot of attention. The fact that he has to think is interesting. I like it when my opponents have to think. Things usually go poorly for them when they do. Alright, Gordon, but nothing to Gordon for. No clears. I'm leaning towards just doing Task Force double push. Slow him down. Might pick Rain again. Suppress is not bad, draw is not bad either. I'll take the suppress option. Sometimes like this stuff like a signal regiment can stick around a long time if you don't pick up wave. He shouldn't be running 77th. I mean, it could still be Control. Like, Control could run Dingo and Shibata while still being a Control deck. Have we seen... I mean, Yokosuka and Task 44 is just played in every deck, so that's not that helpful. I'm assuming our opponent's just picking Storm every time, but I should be paying attention to that. Alright, let's draw a card. Universal Carrier is very useful. Not playing it this turn, because we finally got the Ensigns out. And we will drop a Blast and play a Blast. So yeah, this is kind of what you do against Jaegro. Like, it's not like our opponent hasn't been playing anything. He did Cav on 1. Got out a bunch of Task 44s, got some 10th Recon value. It's just, they are getting absolutely farmed by the Blasts. Okay, 58th is interesting. This should guarantee that he's an aggro deck, but you also just don't see this card very often, even in the aggro decks, so that's cool. I mean, this has got to be a Universal Carrier turn. I think Dina's honestly a higher priority target. Simply because it can hit face. Do we push Task 44, the infantry? Running a bit low on time. We will take the Storm now in case we have to clear up something big. Equal damage is fine. Also gives us something to Gordon Highlanders for a bit of value, although based on the current situation, I mean, we still have 2 pieces of draw in our hand. Is that his 4th task force? Sends that face, picks another storm. This guy needs to start actually playing his storm cards, because you can only play 1 per turn, and he has at least 4 in hand, I think. Well, 3 currently in his hand, at least. Bombing raid face, I assume? It sure is. Alright, he can't attack with Blitz fighters yet. Well, that's not true, Yokosuka, I guess. I don't know if I want to play Gordon simply because it does slow us down. I mean, having this card cost 0 is probably just going to be good in the long term. I think getting a card deeper in our deck is more important than 2 damage. I could come to regret that, but I think credits on my turn are fairly important. Our health's a little bit low. We have, if he ever clears the board, we have 6 guaranteed healing. Okay, we do overdraw from retreat. And some shenanos. Overdraw Seaforth. Not the end of the world. I mean, this is just an easy take the heal 6. Double blast, right? Play out some healing cards. We are now at 25. He's running a little low on cards. He has 3 weather cards and 2 non-weather cards. He's played 2 Cav. Now that is definitely the 4th task 44 he has played. Was that also for 3 damage? Picks Rain. Likely looking for the draw 3. Gets a Cyclone out of his hand. Alright, got a good Sussex draw going. We can chain it with a Protected Convoy. Want to keep Seaforth next to the HQ. We can chain it again. This leaves us at 8. Alright. Well, we've refilled the hand. How much healing do we have left in the deck? We have another 10, 14 optional. That should be enough to get through. These are his... So he has a rain, and a storm, and a surprise attack. Okay. Well, he got the discard storm. Thankfully, we did not have Meteor in hand. We did lose a whole lot of everything else, but that's fine. We still have some draw. Do I want to put Meteor in now? Probably not. I think we just take the draw. We definitely want this guy in the front line. Meteor's coming out now. We'll take the healing in case he picked another one. I don't think he has any more rain. I think he has storm left. He might have 2 storm cards as the cards in hand. I'm trying to remember how much weather he's played. I think he's generated 5 weather, and he's played... He played retreat, he played destroy everything, he played 5 to the face. So yeah, I think he might have 2 weather cards in the card he top decked. He needs retreat and well, I guess he needs just retreat to be able to expansion. Oh, he does run 77. That's a little surprising. planned attack. Great pickup. Keep the plans rolling for the double. That's interesting. He probably plays key. So I could reduce health with key on this. So just get some more healing in. I'm still pretty sure his last card's a weather card. Okay, that doesn't do a lot. The other option is like maybe it's expansion. Hence the push-up C4th. Doesn't play anything. That's rather surprising. Here, I mean, we're just going to clear the board, keep our units alive. Pick Storm. Honestly, probably could have picked, Rain in that situation. I still don't know if I want to upgrade this or draw. I'm pretty confident I just want to draw with it. But I'll hold on to it in case he does have like another discard Rain. But this way it does save the credits. Okay, Desperate Measures. Holds on to the surprise attack. We do get the Meteor. And Ultra's a fairly important draw here. I mean, it's just probably just going to surprise attack if he has to play around it, but I mean, this is a single card. He knows this is weathered, so it's the card at top deck. Does he really play around Ultra versus the card at top deck? Maybe. I mean, the surprise attack's probably not doing a whole lot else for him. He has one more Type 94 in deck. I doubt he's running any other pin. He's probably not running Scouts. I swear that's like his 6th task force. Like, I know obviously it isn't. But, okay, the fact that he walked into that is quite substantial. We'll just hold on to this. If he plays the card that shuffles and draws equal to the largest hand, I think that's fine. I'd also be shocked if he still had it. Well, that's actually a really good draw. As is that. I know this plays into the card. We have the credits to attack with Meteor. Alright, well, I think it's safe to say that we've got him, and we'll be advancing on into the finals of this Iron Tournament here. Alright, another Japan Anzac defeated. That guy was also kind of control. A little unclear. We haven't seen the, whatever the card that buffs 2 units for +2/+2 is from either of our opponents, which is sort of like the, primary. Another Japan Anzac. Okay, well, I wanted more meta decks, and I have been certainly getting more meta decks. Okay, number 46 Commander is just really good. Pioneer is a great pickup as well. Okay, Dingo, we just kill it. If I wanted to be really inefficient, I could have done Pioneer, Zero Cost, Protected Convoy, Production, Commando, but there's not that important of a need to develop the Pioneer already at the cost of production. Task Force Face for 2. It's been a very successful route for our last 2 opponents. Let's see if it works out for him. Okay, we'll start with the Dingo. I still kind of want to just hold on to Pioneer Company and push the Recon. Or push the Commando. Maybe that's a crazy play, but... Like, I feel like he might Raiding Brigade. And I really don't want him to Raiding Brigade my Pioneer before I get good value out of it. I could Pioneer this turn. It's, again, a very good option for Raiding Brigade. But... I think we go for it now. Just keep his guys off the board. Make it hard for him to play his expansions if he's running any. So we know he has a weather card and he picked Storm. It's important to pay attention to. Does anyone else feel like the Storm card is, like the Gale, is too, a bit too bright? Like, I wish the color of the water was a bit darker. Because this feels sunny to me. No one picks a sunny, so I don't know what the actual sunny looks like. So this is just a very bright card that feels sunny to me. What did our opponent do? Did Task Force 44 declare the front line to push cavalry and draw? Yeah, that's fine. I mean, I could trade Protected Convoy Production Seaforth. I mean, I can't play this on 6 because of how production works with Anzac Spirit, or with Pioneer Company. The other option is trade Ultra. That feels a little wacky. So I do think we'll just go for this line. Make it harder for him to play additional expansions. But get the tempo Seaforth on board to start causing issues for him, as well as get value out of the Pioneer. So he picked Storm again. There's the first one. Kills Seaforth. And goes for Dingo, which we will clear up with Task 44. I mean, this is going to be like the most obvious Ultra of all time if I hold it up, because he sees I have plans in hand. He's a burn deck. We'll go for Rain again. So hopefully we can pick up the healing, which we do. And, I mean, let's just be credit efficient, get a fortification out of our hand. Next turn, maybe we can do plan Ultra, depending on what he's playing. Okay, well, if he wants to expansion, he can do it this turn. Double Sunrise, interesting order. Guarantees it on the Yokosuka in his hand, perhaps? No. So he has another unit in hand, plus a weather card, plus the card he drew off that because he's not attacking with it. That was an interesting order of events. So we'll get the 3 damage on this. So he has a weather card, an order, and a buffed unit, and then he's getting another weather card at the start of his turn. And he picks Storm again. So we'll start with this. He has intel on the Ultra now, which is annoying. Honestly, Deluge isn't bad here. And we'll just clear this guy up. Slightly less credit efficient, but preserves a bit of health. I would be shocked if he had an expansion in his hand. Well, I guess he had 2 draws for an expansion if he didn't have it previous turn. I might suppress this to stop the draw as well. Yeah, take 5 to the face, that's perfectly fine. Buffed cavalry. Not too much of an issue. We take a lot of damage if we suppress that one. I could play that. Draw to 9. I might just play Dingo to heal 1 here. He hits it with the, this guy instead of going face. I should have played it on the other side of the HQ, because now he can just do this 6-cost Storm Order to the face. No, he didn't have it. Never punished. If this survives, we do Anzac Spirit. Can't clear it up. Still can't clear it up with this. I could potentially draw for it, though. Based on our hand size, I think we want to take the blast. This is a good option. Just pin him. Do I want to get Dingo out of my hand now? Makes the retreat and destroy option harder. I think I value the credits more if he wants to hit face for 5. So I think we do this. He probably just does key to the face. We do Anzac Spirit, blast the key. Hit this, Dingo goes face. We are on 9 cards in hand. 2 damage to everything, Cyclone, close up, Dingo, close up. Pioneer. Floats 3. Another Dingo draw. Well, this is an Anzac Spirit turn for sure. And then we blast. And then I could oh, he's just going to surrender. Well, we got the Iron Tournament. You guys having issues with Japan Anzac? Play this deck. That was very smooth. And you know what? I'm feeling like another one. So let's jump into another Iron Tournament and make this video a little bit longer. Or maybe it's very short because I lose immediately. We will see. Alright, another tournament starting. What are the odds of another 3 Japan Anzacs? First opponent is Soviets. Okay. So, probably Soviet Japan control. This will be fun, an actual control matchup. But it also could always just be tokens. So we'll keep the Commando, keep Enzans. I have no idea if I'm saying this correctly. Like, I know it's an acronym, but I don't know how people typically say the acronym, but I'm just saying Enzans, so there's probably some Anzac military experts out there who are dying inside every time I say that. We'll just do the turn 2 plan. We will have more. Get a card deeper. We should see if he's tokens this turn. My guy entered an Iron Tournament with 6th Naval Brigade. I have Blast in hand. Now I'm, like, confused if I should blast it. Like, is he trying to bait out the blast because he has other stuff? I mean, I've played... I got, like, top 20 once with a 6th Naval Brigade deck, fun fact. If he's playing 6th Naval Brigade, it just means he's infantry aggro. So he might have some token stuff, but he might not necessarily be all in on the tokens. So it was a bait for the blast, but I did have a second blast, which is why I went for this line. I could dingo this turn. German ally. I'm curious if he's going to be running Blitzkriegs and 35Ts, or if he's just going to be all in on the infantry. The fact that he's not... Excuse me. The fact that he's not US ally makes me think that he's probably running more than just infantry. And is running, like, just a full tank aggro deck, and this is just because it has 0 op and is a 1-drop. He might do, like, Jaeger Regiment stuff here on Dingo. Get some more card draw, get some units on the board. SU 100. Okay, we'll start with draw. I mean, I could kill the SU in several different ways. I think the question to me is just, is it worth it? I'm foreseeing hand size issues, so I'm tempted to just go for a fort. And then I think I will remove this. Hold on to the other blast to get value out of the Sussex. I think I called this guy Wessex earlier. It's close enough. AA gun. Okay. Another blast target. Is he like a counter-offensive deck? Or not a combined arms deck? Cheap artillery, cheap infantry. Pass? Okay, our opponent is cooking. I mean, we'll start with this for hand size purposes. Then we'll take the draw. I think we just do Sussex and push. Like, now that we have 2, we could just toss one onto the board to make hand space. Maybe this is a mistake, given the fact that I have 4 plans in hand. But we have Meteor, so... This is what the guy like Wolf packs Sussex and discards Meteor. Okay, so he's got some blasts of his own. I don't think we're drawing with Dingo again. Like, this particular Dingo again. No. Okay. Can you imagine? I mean, we have this in hand, so I could just Dingo attack now. Like, we overdraw a card, but I don't care about overdrawing a card. Because Meteor's in hand. The other option is to do this. To attack or not to attack? I think we attack. This might seem crazy. This is another angle with this deck that I think a lot of people don't go for. Overdrawing, if you're positive it's not going to be Meteor, is actually beneficial for this deck, because you are still drawing cards. If you have an opportunity to draw cards, particularly with Dingo, and you would otherwise lose it, just draw the card if you know it's not going to be Meteor, because it's just going to mean that you are closer to drawing Meteor into Meteor into Meteor and killing your opponent. The individual cards in your deck do not matter outside of Meteor. Speaking of overdrawing cards, let's do it again. Hmm. I could overdraw a lot of cards here. Alternatively, I could just hold up Ultra and overdraw one card. And potentially, well, it's just gonna hit a blast, so. Well, that is what I call overdrawing some cards. It's what, turn 8, and we have 14 cards in deck? And again, as long as our opponent, who might run second, will fack, and then he has to draw it, and then has to hit a 1 in. What the hell? Okay, well that's just going to get absolutely fine by my blasts, and he played 1, so he can't double blast Universal Carrier, even if it mattered. We overdraw Wave. Let's just start by getting cards out of our hand. I think we do want to get Meteor out, but we don't have credits to buff it. I could just Anzac Spirit this turn for the credits gain. I should have planned first. Yeah, let's just overdraw a little bit. Okay, with Ultra up, I do feel like not overdrawing another card at the expense of potentially a slightly higher risk of discarding Meteor is a reasonable risk. He is Soviet, so he could like start having some really big guards. Okay, procs Ultra, that's fine. Holds 8. Why am I like randomly thinking, did they bring back entrapment? Is that a thing that they did? Alright. And we got it. Probably could have pushed that. I don't know if it matters too much. I was definitely not expecting the Prince Eugen. Okay, guards the wrong side. Goes back. What is happening? um... I assume this is just lethal. Yeah. Because I don't actually want to remove that because it double guards. So instead, we just kill him with the double task force. Alrighty. That is another game and another win. That was not the typical deck you see in an Iron tournament. I feel kind of bad for stealing that guy's gold. But at the same time, you gotta learn your lesson not to enter 300 gold tournaments with a deck that looks like that. Now we go back to our regularly scheduled Japan Anzac. Alright. I mean, not really any reason not to start with this guy. Also makes playing Dingo harder for him. I could shoot that. Now I'm almost certainly going to shoot that. And let's push. Okay, playing Type 94 suggests the more aggressive version, but again, could be anything, as we have seen many times. We'll start the turn by drawing with Dingo. Hopefully a Task 44 gets picked up. We'll pick Rain. Just because, again, he's probably quite aggressive. We'll take Torrential Rain for the draw. There's situations where it could be relevant. If we need to search for a specific card, or he picks Rain and discards a bit. I assume we picked Storm again, yeah. You know what? Fair play. I don't know if I've ever seen anybody willingly pick that option before, but this was absolutely... If you were ever going to pick that option, this was the time to do it. We'll kill this. Then draw last. That's a very big pickup. We draw to 9, go down to... Yeah, we just play it on turn 6. That's fine. Okay, Dina. Is it Dingo time? Probably not, because he overdraws if he does Dingo. He also overdraws with Type 94. He might only have Dingos in Type 94s. Is a Dingo not attack time? I mean, in his deck, Dingo not attack is worse. Okay, he just had Cavalry. Alright, Cavalry hold back. Which, to me, says that he has expansion in hand, but I don't really care about that. Gordon's probably dying to Type 94, but... I mean, I guess the other option was C4th to bait it out and then wait a turn. Wait 2 turns, probably, on the other line. Dingo makes hand space, expansion, draws back to 9. So he has no weather cards. Right? Draws back to 9 again. This guy is facing bigger hand size issues than I am. Well, my opponent's about to be very sad. But on the bright side, he's not overdrawn. Like, the bright side for him. Could do... Plan attack, draw, Blastina, push C4th, and Zans. I know that there's, like, basically a 100% chance that this gets killed by double surprise attack. But 10th recon. Shuffles my deck, because that visual bug's still there. Yokosuka, he's looking for the retreat and destroy. Which is fine. Oh, goes for rain. Interesting. The fact that he hasn't snap picked means he probably didn't take the discard. Or maybe he's just worried about his hand size and thinks discard's maybe not tenable. I could just get him with a really big dude. Like, dropping him to 6. We have task 44s, we have planned attacks. He's probably not getting healing. I mean, I don't know. As a general rule, if you can make a 14-14, or not a 14-14, a 12-12, and hit your opponent with it, I think it's usually a good play to go for it. It's turn 7. I have 10 credit slots and a 12-12. Things are going pretty well for me. We also have this torrential rain to help us fish deeper for the burn cards to finish him off. Even a single task 44 has a reasonably high chance of picking rain and then generating the burn necessary to kill him. Kick Storm on this one. And starts putting some damage into the good old face. Could just Carpet Bombing Fortification. I'm going to push. Pushing makes it easier for him to do the Retreat Destroy option, because then I don't get the commando back in hand. But if he has the Destroy Everything discard, I don't really want to play Protected Convoy to increase my hand size. Is this just the Bombing Raid surrender angle? Alright, retreats it. Throws up a dingo. The retreat was his rain option. Which is important, because now it means he does not have the destroy everything. So let's get out the Universal Carrier. I don't think we really need more blasts. It's just going to generate more hand size. So we'll hold on to the other commander for now. Also make it look like we have Ultra, maybe. Alright. Double Sunrise. Probably means he can kill it. Goes for the Shenano. And misses, and we got him. Alright. Absolutely smacking that Japan Anzac. And now we sit in the finals and await an opponent. So let's cut to that. Alright. Our opponent has been decided. And it's going to be... That is a Japan card back, if I remember correctly. Which I do. Alright, it's going to be another Japan Anzac. 5 for 6 in the Iron Tournaments. We're going first. So Dingo's a safe keep. Second Dingo's a safe keep. Protected Convoy's fine. Number 46 Commando is the one I'm looking for. Now we just have to wait for our opponent to finish up his mulligan. If this Dingo gets to double draw, it's kind of just Jover for him. Like, if he has Cavalry to kill it immediately, then that's fine. We just do Commando, kill it, Dingo, draw with the second Dingo. But if his play, if I do Dingo, hit face, and then his play is Type 93, Type 94, His own dingo. Even pass. Oh my goodness. Alright, things are about to get a little bit wild here. Well, if he passed on, is he gonna desperate measures this? That's like the only real difference between 1 and 2. You can task force one of them. That can't feel great. Pick Storm. Him killing one of them is fine because we were going to face some serious hand size issues. I probably wasn't attacking with both of them anyways. Okay, looks like the game is telling us to do some weather of our own. Or forecast a bit of our own. I'm tempted to just pick Storm. We have a really good setup. Storm can help end the game quicker. It can also give us some good cards at clearing up his board. Which he will presumably make at some point in time. Second Task Force 44. Second Storm. And Shabbat. I think we just... Well... I could see fourth. Walks into the retreat. Destroy. The other option is to just kill it. And I think we just pass back the turn. I doubt he picked 2k retreat, and if he did, I doubt he would play it on this. Coastal Watcher suggests he's the aggressive version of the deck. Picks a third Storm card, picks a second Coastal Watchers. That's actually really annoying. He's just going to be hitting me upside the head with Storm cards for a very long time. These guys are also really difficult to get rid of. Maybe I honestly should be sending that into the face. Well, we'll pick Storm. Pick damage. So with that, I can drop him to 7. I think it's time to just get Seaforth out. Maybe I should have put Seaforth on the other side in case he wants to target Seaforth with the deal 5. So he has 4 weather in hand. I think he picked Storm on all of them. He picked Sunny twice? Why? Okay, Peggy on the Pioneer. And then retreat. I overdraw my Cyclone, which is annoying. I can production Carpet. I think I'm going to do that. He has 2 Sunny cards. I'm a little scared he's going to do the +3/+3. Which you can still do on 2 units with the 2 1-cost units with the reduction. No, he's just going to drop 5 to the face. Okay, so he's down both Storms. He has 2 Sunnies. He's presumably picking a 3rd Storm. Yep. I could really use a... No, I think we have enough. plans. Okay, we got this task force over here to the right place. That's 5 burn. If both of them pick up the 5 burn, we could theoretically try to kill him. He picks up another 5 burn, tosses that to the face. Task 44 for 3 damage to the face. Picks another storm. So he has 2 sunny cards, 1 storm card. I'm at 10. These guys are a bit of an issue. So I think it is time to take them out. We have so much burn in hand, I think it's right to go for Storm and try to end the game faster. We hit the 5. Okay, let's take the front line. Maybe that just gives him a target for 77th. But I mean, he's clearly the control version of the deck. Gets his bit of healing in. He's probably running island defense, actually. He's probably on 4 copies of island defense, so there's no way we can simply outrace him. We have to win with the good old Meteor. Almost certainly. Retreat C4th? Okay, I guess I overdraw my weather. I mean, he very clearly wants to... Now, let's get the draw in. Anzac Spirit. I can play it next turn. He still has 2 sunny cards. And that was his storm card that he played. So he's out of storm cards. Just has the sunny cards. I take it back, he's not out of storm cards, because that is a storm card to the face. Clears out the guard. That is problematic. I would really like to be able to stop the key from hitting me this turn. I can do Anzac Spirit, 2 draws for C4th. I do not hit C4th. Okay, we have 1 Fortification and Research in deck. And 2 Dingoes in terms of healing. Okay, he drops his own Anzac Spirit. Shibata that needs to die immediately. And we pick up our C4th. So I think we drop an Anzac Spirit to clear that up. Drop the Observer Core. Keep hand space down. I'm through 2 Shibatas. He can key me this turn, but he takes the bond, and that's not irrelevant. Goes for Kawanishi. Pick Storm. Is it time to do his Sunny? Well, if he wanted to do Sunny, he would have played it first if he had the Blitz one. Raiding on Dingo takes the front line. Yokosuka draws another card. He's going to run into hand size issues. Picks another Sunny. Yeah, there's the first of his Sunnies. Okay, so we can do Task Force, Wave. Go for healing here. Miss the healing entirely. So we'll go for Torrential Rain. And I messed up because the game is broken. Which means Kawanishi sticks. So let's pin it. And draw some cards. Alright, so for those who don't know, right now there's a bug where when you forecast, the first choice of forecast counts as an order, which is relevant for Yokosuka, which is why everyone's playing Yokosuka. So Task Force 44 counts as playing 2 orders, so you take 2 damage with Yokosuka, and it also matters for Wave. So if you play Task Force 44, it counts as having played 2 orders, so now Wave is the 3rd order on the turn, and therefore not active. Okay, our opponent has... Okay, that's a rather big issue. Okay, well this works properly this time. There's a non-zero chance we can clean up this turn. In fact, I definitely can. So that's very useful. Alright. So the keys can still come in. Our Meteor's up to a 4/4. We have 7 cards in deck. It's a very good Desperate Measures. Here comes the first key. Okay, we'll start with a bit of draw here. We do pick up another blast, so we can get rid of this guy. Oh goodness, I hope I have time for this. And we ran out of time. Ah! That's very bad. I mean, we have a 3/10. And he shouldn't have on-demand suppress. He's not played any Type 94s. And this is what I'm talking about with running out of time in the Iron tournaments with this deck. I should have just taken the immediate 2. That's fine, because I'm still so confused why he kept picking Sunny. Okay, well, this is presumably going to be Storm. I'm surprised he didn't send that face. Alright. Well. We got him. 2 Iron tournaments in a row. 5-0 against Japan and Zach of all varieties. Also beat 2 random other decks and lost a game I completely threw against another random other deck that was also playing a bunch of hard counter cards. If that's not evidence enough that you should try out this deck, I don't know what else is going to convince you. This deck's absolutely insane. I probably forgot to mention earlier, but the deck code is going to be in the description of the video, obviously. Go check it out yourself. Try it out. There's a steep learning curve, but you will get used to it. But again, just to go over some of the key things that are different in the way that you might expect to play this deck. Avoid overdrawing at all costs if Meteor is not in hand. If Meteor is in hand, you can overdraw to your heart's delight, and in fact, it's usually optimal to overdraw to your heart's delight if Meteor is in hand, but you also don't want Meteor in your hand too long in case your opponent has access to discard, and the important one to look out for is if your opponent ever develops a rain card, because that is the big counter. The mulligan, you're looking for your number 46 commandos, your dingoes, protected convoys fine, pioneer is a great keep. Those are the big ones you're looking for. If I'm playing against something I know that's going to be a bit slower, I always keep Gordon Highlanders. In fact, if I'm playing against basically anything, I always keep Gordon Highlanders because the curve of this deck is so low that you're never going to have a bad hand against Jagro if you keep Gordon, unless you get really unlucky. And yeah, that's sort of the way you go through the deck. It's fine if you're being incredibly inefficient because, again, as you have seen time after time, you have the healing to out-heal the burn, you have the draw to consistently get through your deck, and you have the Meteor, which is going to put out pressure on your opponent faster than control decks can finish you off with stuff like front formation or their keys and their constantly generated forecasts. So that's the deck. That's the video. Thank you very much for watching. And hey, if there's anyone in the Chinese community or is in contact with one of the 8 finalists for the tournament next weekend, maybe send them a link to this video, because maybe they want to check it out. And with that being said, I will catch all of y'all in the next one. Thanks for watching.